I moved into the apartment on the third floor at the start of the rainy season. It wasn't a dramatic decision. I needed somewhere quiet, cheap, and near enough to the bus line so I could still get to work without thinking too hard. The building was old but solid. The kind of old that smelled like warm dust and secondhand lives. I liked that. The hallway lights flickered, but they always came back on. The stairs creaked in a polite way. The neighbors didn't talk much. Perfect. The apartment itself was small, just enough for me. A narrow kitchen, a soft bed that hugged the wall, and a single window that looked out toward the alley. That window became everything. I didn't think much of it at first. It was stuck when I moved in, slightly rusted at the hinge. I tried to open it and gave up. Figured it wasn't meant to be opened. So I left it. First night, nothing unusual. Second night, I noticed it was cracked open. Just a sliver. I didn't think much of it. Maybe the frame shifted. Maybe I had bumped it without realizing. I pushed it shut again. Locked it. Third night, I woke up around 2:45 am. No noise. No dream. Just woke. I glanced toward the window. It was open again. Exactly 3 cm. I measured it with my finger. Pressed it shut, harder this time. It clicked into place. The lock held. I went back to sleep. Fourth night, I stayed up, just to see, watched TV until 2:30, sat on the edge of the bed, stared at the window. At 2:41 am, I heard the faintest pop, like suction giving way. The window creaked, moved, opened exactly 3 cm. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. I watched. There was no hand, no breeze, just that one slow movement, like a held breath escaping. I got up, walked over, shut it. Didn't say a word. Didn't sleep the rest of the night. The next day, I asked the landlord if the window had issues. He stared at me longer than he should have, then said, "That room's always been touchy. You'll get used to it." I didn't like the way he said used. I went back up, tried taping the frame. 2 layers, duct tape, covered every corner. That night, I waited again. 2:41. A sound like tearing paper. The tape curled back on its own. The window opened 3 cm. Nothing more, nothing less. I didn't shut it this time. I just stared at the gap, at the dark beyond the glass. The alley was too quiet. The street lamp flickered, then stayed on. Something about that space between the glass felt deeper than it should, like the 3 cm wasn't a measurement, it was a distance. A pause, a question. I left it open. Morning came. Nothing happened. No cold, no noise. But the air in the room felt different, thinner, like something had passed through, or waited to. I talked to a neighbor the next evening. An older woman, room 3B. She hesitated when I mentioned my unit. Asked if the window still opened. I asked what she meant. She just said, "Some rooms remember more than others." That night, I didn't wait. I tried to sleep. But the moment the clock turned 2:41, I felt it. A attention. Not outside, inside, like the room was listening to itself. I didn't turn to look. I just said quietly, "I see you." And for the first time, the window didn't open. But the glass fogged, just slightly. A breath from the other side. I didn't sleep. I didn't move. I just whispered again, "I see you," and waited for it to whisper back. The next night, I set an alarm for 2:30. I sat on the floor facing the window, blanket wrapped tight around my shoulders. Every light off, just me and the soft red glow of the clock blinking too slow. At 2:39, I stood, walked to the window. I gripped the lock, held it shut, pressed my palm flat against the wood, as if I could fuse it closed with sheer force. I counted the seconds. At 2:41, nothing happened. Not at first, but then I felt it, not a draft, not a sound, just pressure. Gentle, insistent, like something on the other side was waiting, not to come in, but to breathe. The lock trembled beneath my hand. Not violently, not loud, just a soft, rhythmic tapping, like a heartbeat pulsing through wood. I didn't move. I whispered again, "I see you." And this time, the window didn't open, but the fog returned, a slow, even bloom of condensation, spreading from the center of the glass outward, like something leaning very close, too close, and exhaling. I stepped back. The room felt smaller, not tighter, closer, like the walls had shifted in by a few millimeters. The breath on the glass didn't fade. It held its shape, a perfect oval, like a face that never pressed, only watched. I didn't sleep. Again. The following day, I left the apartment early, walked the block, got coffee, looked up at my window from the sidewalk. It looked closed, still, normal, but the pane was slightly dimmer than the others. Not dirty, just heavy. I asked the woman in 3B again. This time, I said it straight. Did someone die in my room? She didn't answer right away, just turned her mug in slow circles between her palms. Then, "It wasn't a murder, if that's what you're asking." I was, but she kept going. "It was a long time ago. Girl lived alone. Quiet, like you, didn't leave much behind. But the window, it was open when they found her. Just 3 cm. Nothing else disturbed." I didn't ask how she knew that. I didn't want to know. That night, I didn't wait. At 2:40, I opened the window myself, pulled it wide, let the cold bite. Nothing happened. No wind, no sound, just dark. I left it like that, wide open, stared out into the alley, counted the bricks on the wall across. At 2:41, the frame shook. Once. Then the window began to close. Not slam, not jerk, just draw back in. And when it stopped, it was open exactly 3 cm, like it had chosen its measure, its memory. I reached out and pressed my fingers to the gap. It didn't resist, but I felt something faint, a warmth, like skin, not air, just for a second, then gone. I pulled my hand back. My fingers smelled faintly of ash, and under the scent, something sweeter. like flowers that died too quietly to be remembered. I stopped trying to keep it closed. Every night it would open, 3 cm, like clockwork, like breath, like ritual. Some nights I opened it wider, trying to invite whatever it was to do something, show itself, say something, even just push back. But it never did. It only ever wanted the 3 cm. Nothing more, nothing less. Like that was the rule, the line, the agreement. At first, I thought it was trying to come in. But after the 7th night, I realized it wasn't trying to enter. It was trying to see. And I, foolish and tired, kept showing up. Around the 10th night, I began hearing the sound. A soft tap. Not every night, just some. Always around 2:41. Always 3 taps. Never loud. Just enough to notice. Like a reminder. Like a question. The first time I heard it, I looked out. But there was nothing there. No figure. No shape. Just the same alley. Same brick wall. Same flickering light. But it felt different. Like the space between me and the alley had shortened. Like the air didn't stretch quite as far as before. The next morning, the condensation on the window wasn't random. It formed a shape, something almost like a fingerprint. I traced it with my hand. It was cold, but not like glass. It pulsed slightly, like something underneath the surface had just moved. That day, I stayed home. I pulled up old news archives, local message boards, anything I could find about the building. I found a forum post from 12 years ago. Username deleted. Just 3 lines. Room 3C doesn't forget. The window knows who's missing. Never stand too close after 2:41. That was it. No replies. No context. I didn't sleep that night. I sat in the corner, facing the window, lights off, eyes fixed. And when 2:41 came, I didn't blink. The window opened. 3 cm. Slowly. Deliberately. Then I heard the tap. Not on the glass. On the wall. From the inside. 3 slow knocks. I stood, approached the window. There was no breath, no fog, but something moved just outside. A shadow. Not shaped like a person. Not shaped like anything I could explain. It hovered, waited, like it was expecting me to say something. So I did. I whispered, "Why are you watching me?" There was no reply, but the shadow tilted, just a bit, like a head cocked sideways, like confusion, like disappointment. Then it pulled back, slowly, disappearing into the darkness without sound. The window stayed open. I didn't close it. I waited. And this time, before I could speak again, I heard something very faint, like a voice through water, like a memory I didn't know I had. It said, "You're not her." Then silence. And for the first time, I understood. It wasn't waiting to come in. It was waiting for someone else to look back. I didn't leave the apartment the next day. I didn't eat. I didn't speak. I just sat by the window, waiting for 2:41 like it was a train pulling in at a station I wasn't sure I'd bought a ticket for. I didn't know what it meant, "You're not her." But it stayed in me, low and cold, like something I had forgotten I was supposed to carry. That night, I sat with the lights off. No candles, no noise, just me and the hum of a clock I had stopped trusting. At 2:40, the air in the room changed. Not colder, just sharper, like everything around me had drawn a breath and decided to hold it. And then it came. The slow creak, the sound of the latch giving way, the familiar 3 cm of space. This time, I didn't wait. I stepped toward it, closer than before. I leaned in, let my breath fog the glass, let the condensation bloom. And then I saw it. A face, right on the other side, not pressed, not distorted, just hovering. Eyes wide, still, empty of light, but full of something else, recognition. It wasn't terrifying. It wasn't monstrous. It was worse. It was me. But not the me I knew. Not the me who had lived this version of the days. It was thinner, paler, lips slightly parted, like it had been trying to speak for years, but kept getting interrupted. I didn't scream. I didn't move. I just stared. And it stared back, not through me, at me, like it was trying to remember if I was the one who stayed or the one who left. Behind it, I saw nothing. No street, no brick wall, just dark, endless and soft, like the sky before a storm. I raised my hand slowly, touched the glass. It didn't reach back, but the window opened just a little more barely, a breath past the 3 cm mark. Enough for sound, enough for a word. I didn't say anything. I couldn't, but the figure outside did. And in my own voice, it whispered, "You came back too late." The window shut, not fast, not loud, just final. I stood there long after, listening, hoping, but there was nothing. No tap, no fog, no face, just my reflection now, blurred, alone. The next morning, I tried to keep it closed again, hammered a wedge into the frame, stacked books, taped it shut. But at 2:41, the room still shifted. The light still bent. And I knew it was watching, not in anger, not in malice, but with disappointment. Like someone waiting for a letter that never arrived. The window always opens 3 cm. And now, even when I move out, I think I'll still wake up at that exact time. I think I'll still turn toward whatever space is nearby. I think I'll still look for her. Because I don't know if I was ever meant to live here, or if I was just filling in the shape she left behind.